I do everything on the flat.
Okay. How to make a butter pastry.
Mark, get set, go.
A class by Griet.
Greet.
Okay, you are on the video.
Yeah, this is not normally how I go about it. I probably measure a little bit. The thing with pastry, I feel like I'm under pressure. There's a video here. Ooh, is. The thing about pastry is that you don't really need a lot of butter for this. Sorry, I just ruined your well.
Oh. Oh, I made another one, haha.
And you don't need a lot of fat. Most of it's just water holding it together. Too much fat, and it makes it flake too much, and you actually don't want it to flake too much. You want to keep its shape. So that's the... I'd probably even use more flour than what we're using here, but this is beginner's baby pastry. I gotta get a spoon.
Okay.
So I didn't bring a spoon either. These are great.
Sweet.
Pick your weapon.
Oh, look at the duck. Duck
She
spoon.
wants me to explain it, but my spoon's better.
Oh, it is too. I thought there was
I know the best book to look at is actually Bartholomew Scappi's opera, and he explains really well that the butter, a lot of people do hot, they call it hot water. It shouldn't be hot, it should just be lukewarm, enough to keep the butter melted. You put my finger in here and that's not going to burn. That's probably perfect. It could even be a little bit cooler.
So how much butter?
Now, I
How
have
much butter did you put in your,
I have
how
about
much
4
water?
cups of flour here. Usually I do like 4 pounds of flour, and only like quarter pound, about a quarter pound, even an eighth of butter. Sometimes it's a quarter. Sometimes I do a half if you want to make, you know, a richer, tastier, yummier pastry. It doesn't matter if you get water in it.
good.
Because water is your main thing to make the pastry, not the butter.
So this butter is floating in warm water, is what Griet was explaining, that she has taken about a
That
quarter
I'm a
pound
slob.
of butter, and she has in fact not clarified it, but she's melted it in water.
And it's keeping it nice and warm, ready to go. I'm spilling all over the place, doesn't matter. He's more anal than I am.
I'm only filming you, don't worry about it.
I like to mix as I go. So yeah, in here I only have maybe a quarter cup of butter. A lot opposite than what you're going to do with a lot of modern pastries.
Quarter cup or quarter pound?
I have a quarter cup in here.
Okay.
Because I'm working in cups, I don't have my scales with me. But there's no real optimum. This is just something I came up with on my own, just through experimenting in that. You could put egg yolk in here. A lot of recipes will have egg. You could put saffron in it. I prefer to do a saffron wash. It's cheaper and it's also period. You could do an egg yolk wash. The idea is that you actually want your pastry to be yellow. That's generally seems to be the consensus. You could put sugar in it. So I mean, obviously they ate pastry because they put sugar in it. You wouldn't want to waste it otherwise. So what you're going to find, I like to just scoop the butter off, and then finish it off with just enough water to make a nice malleable, heavy Play-Doh.
Play-Doh.
Yeah, I love Play-Doh. I got most of my fat off. Oh, he's like making like a volcano or something.
Oh, cool.
And you notice it's not nearly enough to make a pastry yet. But you actually want to work the gluten because, like I said, you want it to be malleable and yummy and squishy.
Are you going to add the whole bowl, or just by feel as you go?
By feel as you go. Just keep adding.
And now you're adding actually now more water at this point, aren't you? So
Yep.
you've already worked in the butter, and now you're basically going to be adding the warm water. And unlike other pastries, you're putting a warm water in and not a cold water.
Exactly. Some pastries are like the very late period pastries, calling for cold water. Absolutely. They're flakier. There are period flaky recipes. This is not one. If you were doing a pastry for, say, like a deer, red deer, whatever, you'd be using actually
A lot more flour.
a lot less fat. And you wouldn't be using water, you'd probably be using broth from the deer.
So that would give more flavor to the pastry.
You know, you're not going to put the whole deer in the pastry.
Obviously, you cook different than I.
And you would be using a different flour like rye. It's not going to be a very nice pastry. That's the type of pastry people are usually talking about when they say it's not edible. It would be the type you would do for game. And that's just basically just to cook it and keep it tender. Basically, you know, replacement for the casserole dish. I think after they discovered, hey, this stuff's not too bad, because a lot of these recipes, like I said, they're all meant to be eaten. Otherwise, you would just be putting water, flour, maybe lard or oil. The pastry I have in there, the only fat in it is oil, and I gotta check it again. Can someone look at my pastry? Maybe I will.
Here, I'll pause.
My hands are all full.